You thinking about game development? Maybe you look at the screen, play Elden Ring or League of Legends, and you think, I want to do that. But why? And how? Of course, you don't know. Let me speak to you about every piece of that job, because, I am unemployed. I have the time to tell you the truth. Firstly, you have to know this. Developing a game is not usually an individual job. Unless you are a maniac who doesn't sleep, if you want to develop a game, you have to master yourself in a bunch of other jobs. We can separate a game into four pieces basically: coding, art, and modeling if it's 3D, animation, and game design. But wait, it gets worse. You cut those four pieces into 8 and 16 and 32. UI design, sound engineering, level design, narrative writing, marketing. This is just about the size of the game you want to do. Many people can't decide in which role they want to exist, because if you want to make good games, really good games, you feel like you have to be professional in all of them. And let me be honest, that is not possible for one person without sacrificing your sanity. Okay, now let me introduce all of them to you properly. By the end of this video, I want you to recognize which one calls to your soul, which one makes you want to sit at a computer for 12 hours straight. Let's find out. Of course, the first one is coding. It's essential. It doesn't matter if you're making a text adventure or the next GTA 6. The coder is basically the person who gives life to the game. Think of the game as a human body. The art is the skin, the animation is the muscle, but the code is the nervous system. It is the brain. Without the coder, that beautiful 3D model of a dragon is just a statue. It sits there. It does nothing. The coder is the one who says, if I press space, the dragon jumps. But coding is strange. It is a relationship with failure. If you want to be a gameplay programmer, you have to be logical. You have to love solving puzzles. You will spend 5 hours looking for a bug, only to realize you typed a false instead of true. There are languages you need to know. C# if you use Unity, C++ if you are brave and use Unreal Engine, Python, Lua, JavaScript. It's an endless ocean of syntax. But the feeling? When you type a line of code and the character actually moves, that is a godlike feeling. You spoke to the machine and the machine obeyed. If you are the type of person who likes to look under the hood of a car to see how the engine works, coding is for you. But be warned, you will dream in algorithms. You will see the real world and think about how to optimize its frame rate. And after you actually learn how to code, I think you're going to start believing in the simulation theory. Because there isn't much difference between real life and a video game. We're basically living in an augmented, high-graphics simulation. But be careful, because once you realize that, you can easily get depressed. So this is not advice, just a warning. But maybe you hate math. Maybe you hate logic. Maybe you want to make things that make people cry just by looking at them. Then, my friend, you are an artist. We have to split this. Are we talking 2D or 3D? If you go 2D, you are a master of illusion. Pixel art, hand-drawn animation, you are working with sprites. You have to convey emotion with a few colored squares. It's harder than it looks. You need to understand color theory, lighting, and composition. Then there is the 3D artist. This is where it gets technical. You aren't just drawing, you are sculpting digital clay. You need to know about topology. You need to know how light bounces off a surface. Is it metal? Is it wood? Is it wet skin? A 3D modeler creates the vessel. They build the world. If the coder is the brain, the artist is the eyes. If the game looks ugly, nobody clicks on it. I don't care how good your code is. If your main character looks like a potato, you lose. If you are the person who pauses movies to look at the background scenery, or if you doodle in your notebook constantly, this is your path. But remember, you have to optimize. You can make a beautiful chair with 10 million polygons, but if it crashes the game, you are useless. And there are extra benefits to being a 3D artist, like working with clothing brands and seeing your work literally in TV ads and on billboards. Or you could work in Hollywood and help make a Spider-Man movie, or create scenes for Jimmy, Mr. Beast. There are a ton of other opportunities that come with being a successful 3D artist. Now, you have a brain and a body, but it's stiff, it's dead, it's T-posing. Enter the animator. Animation is the study of life. It is not just moving an arm from A to B. It is about how it moves. Does the character look heavy? Are they tired? Are they happy? Animators are basically actors who are too shy to be on camera. You have to act out the movement yourself. You have to understand the 12 principles of animation: squash and stretch, anticipation, etc. If you want to master this, you need to understand physics. Gravity, weight. A giant robot walks differently than a ninja. The animator decides the game feel. If the attack animation feels weak, the player feels weak. If the jump feels floaty, the player gets annoyed. You are the puppeteer. If you love observing how people walk, how animals run, and you have infinite patience for moving a digital bone 1 millimeter to the left, welcome to animation, and this one is the same as art. If you say, I'm just bored of making animations for games, that's totally okay. There are a bunch of other things you can do. For instance, you could create your own cartoon show and upload it to YouTube. Or you can create funny animations like Zach 3D films. I can't forget the one thing people always forget. Sound. Try playing a horror game on mute. It's not scary. It's a comedy. The sound designer and composer manipulate the player's heartbeat. You need to record the sound of footsteps on grass, on stone, on metal. You need music that loops perfectly so the player doesn't go crazy hearing it for 10 hours. If you have a musical ear, please, we need you. Audio is 50% of the experience. Music is essential for games, from small to big. Everyone needs to hear something satisfying while they're playing your game. Our nervous system needs that. Sound is what feeds our soul. You can touch people using only one thing: frequency, which is music and sound. But my frequency is my subscriber count. So please feed me. Now we get to the one everyone thinks they want to do: the game designer. I have a great idea for a game. Yeah, shut up. Everyone has an idea. Ideas are cheap. Game design is not about ideas. It is about execution. The game designer is the architect. They decide the rules. How high does Mario jump? How much damage does the shotgun do? Why is this level fun and that level boring? This is level design and systems design. You are playing with psychology. You have to teach the player how to play without explaining it to them. You have to balance the difficulty. Too hard, they quit. Too easy, they get bored. You are the dungeon master. If you are the person who plays a board game and says, we should change this rule to make it better, you are a designer. But be prepared to use Excel. Yes, spreadsheets. Balancing stats is 90% math and spreadsheets. It's not just dreaming up cool stuff. It's engineering fun. Many people, after they learn a bit about game development, decide they want to be a game designer. But most of them really misunderstand this role. Especially in PC games, a game designer has to know every role and make sure everyone is doing the right thing. This role is like the conductor of an orchestra, the queen of the colony. If the game designer misses something, maybe it won't explode instantly, but eventually it will become a disaster for the whole colony, like a parasite. So don't think this role is easy. You have to be capable of carrying all that pressure that comes with making a game. So we have all these jobs: coding, art, animation, design, sound. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds painful. And honestly, it is. So why? Why must you try game development before you die? Because it is the ultimate art form. Think about it. A movie has picture and sound, a book has narrative, a painting has visual art, a video game has everything. It has architecture, logic, music, storytelling, cinematography, and psychology. It is the only medium where the audience isn't just watching, they are acting. When you make a game, even a small one, you are creating a universe. You are a god of your own little world. You decide the gravity, you decide the color of the sky, you decide what lives and what dies. There is a specific feeling when you put your game in the hands of a stranger. And they smile, they get frustrated, they laugh, and you realize, I made that happen. I created an emotion in another human being using a keyboard and a mouse. That feeling is addictive. That feeling is worth the bugs. It is worth the crashes. It is worth being unemployed for a few months. You don't have to do it alone, or maybe you do. Maybe you are a solo dev warrior, but you must try it. Download Unity, download Unreal, download Godot. Make a cube move, just a cube. Give a life to pixels. Start there. If you don't know where to start, pick one of the roles I mentioned. Master one. Then learn a little bit of the others. So, do you think AI is going to end all these jobs in the next 5 years? Write it in the comments and tell me which job you want to learn about in the next videos. Just let me know down in the comments. I am going to go now. I have to fix a bug in my movement script that has been ruining my life for 3 days.